I'm Catherine. As I sat around the bonfire with my family, watching the last baby turtle make its way into the waves, I recalled the events of the past summer. It was a journey that had transformed not only our vacation but also our family dynamics. The turning point came when a major national magazine featured our kids in the report about the sea turtle conservation program at Crystal Cove. They were beaming with pride as they shared their experiences with the reporter. The comments were overwhelmingly positive, praising them as future marine biologists and highlighting how this kind of vacation could change lives. Linda called me right after the article was published. Her voice was a mix of defeat and disbelief. "I suppose you think you've won," she said. I looked at my kids playing in the surf and exhaled slowly. "Linda, this was never a competition. My kids don't need a luxury resort to know their worth. They've made connections with people who value substance over status, and that's what truly matters." Thinking back, it all started with a phone call from Linda. My husband, Ryan, and I had 3 wonderful children, Olivia, who was 9, Ethan, 7, and Mia, 5. They were so excited about the upcoming family beach trip. They had been counting down the days, their sand toys and swimsuits neatly packed. But Linda's voice on the phone was sickly sweet when she said, "We've had to make some adjustments to the beach trip. The resort has limited capacity, and your kids are just so full of energy. It might be best if they don't come this time." I tightened my grip on the kitchen counter as I watched my children running around in the backyard. "Just to be clear, Linda," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "You're uninviting my kids from the family vacation while bringing all their cousins?" She sighed and replied, "Oh, Catherine, don't be so dramatic. Victoria's children are used to high-end resorts, and Amelia's twins fit the atmosphere better. We're staying at the Ocean View retreat this year. It's very exclusive." I knew Victoria well. Her husband was a successful stockbroker, and she never missed a chance to show off her wealth. She'd constantly post on social media about their luxurious lifestyle and expensive vacations. Amelia, on the other hand, was always concerned with appearances and etiquette. I reminded Linda that my kids had been looking forward to this for months. They had even collected special shells to give to their cousins. Linda retorted, "Maybe if you and Ryan were stricter with them, instead of letting them run wild." Her words felt like a knife in my heart. Then she added, "Everything is already arranged. Victoria's daughters need their own suite, and Amelia's twins need an ocean view. There's just no space." I remembered the previous year's trip, how my kids were always helping out, while their cousins were glued to their tablets. Olivia had shared her beach volleyball with everyone, and Ethan had helped his younger cousin build a sandcastle for the first time. I asked if Ryan knew about this. Linda said smoothly, "He understands it's for the best. The Ocean View retreat has certain standards." Just then, I heard the kids laughing outside. Ethan had turned on the sprinkler, and all 3 of them were running through the water, full of genuine, unfiltered happiness. I finally said, "You're right, Linda. The Ocean View retreat has its standards, and thankfully, so do I." She asked what I meant, and I replied, "It means my children won't be fully welcomed there. Enjoy your exclusive vacation." I ended the call, my hands shaking, but my decision was firm. That night, when Ryan came home and saw my face, he knew something was wrong. I told him, "Your mom called. She uninvited our kids from the beach trip because they're not resort appropriate." His expression darkened. "She did what? But Victoria's perfect daughters and Amelia's twins?" I couldn't hide my bitterness. Ryan said he'd talk to his mom, but I shook my head. "No, I'm done trying to make your family see the value in our kids. They're kind, happy, and good. If that's not enough for your mother's snobbish resort, we'll make our own plans." I opened my laptop and showed him the listing for a cozy beach house on Shell Bay that we had looked at last year. "It's still for sale," I said. Ryan was hesitant. "Catherine, that's a big purchase." I told him about the inheritance I'd received from my grandmother. I wanted to use it for something meaningful, and what could be more meaningful than showing our kids they don't need anyone's approval to be happy? I also mentioned that Shell Bay was famous for its sea turtle nesting season. The kids will love it more than any overpriced resort, I said with a smile. Ryan looked at the screen and then at me. You're serious? I replied, absolutely. Let them have their exclusivity. We'll create a place where our kids truly belong. What I didn't tell him was that I had checked the weather reports. The Ocean View retreat was on a stretch of coastline prone to hurricanes, while Shell Bay was protected by a coral reef. As I sent an email to the realtor, I received a text from Linda. I hope you understand this is for the best. The resort has great etiquette lessons for the other kids. I ignored it and looked at the fridge, where pictures of my kids were pinned. Olivia volunteering at an elderly care center, Ethan with his paint-stained hands after a creative project, and Mia proudly holding a seashell she had found. These were my amazing, imperfect kids. The purchase of the beach house went through faster than expected. By June, we were the proud owners of a 3-bedroom cottage by the sea. When we told the kids, their excitement was palpable. Can we see the sea turtles from here? Olivia asked, her nose pressed against the window. I grinned and said, better than that. There's a sea turtle conservation program, and I've signed you up as junior volunteers. Their eyes sparkled with a joy that no luxury resort could ever create. Meanwhile, the family group chat was filled with Victoria boasting about her daughter's custom-made resort dresses and Amelia sharing links to the Ocean View retreat's exclusive facilities. Linda was gushing about the private beach cabanas and gourmet dining experiences. One evening, as Ryan and I were painting the kids' room a soft blue, Ryan said, "Did you see Mom's latest post? They're hiring an etiquette coach for the cousins before the trip." I snorted. The thought of kids having to worry about which fork to use on the beach was ridiculous. Then, in mid-June, a weather advisory about unusual storm activity in the ocean came up. At first, Linda brushed it off, saying the resort had excellent indoor activities. But 2 weeks before their trip, the forecast got worse. Linda called me one morning, her voice tense. "You've seen the weather reports, right?" I replied calmly, "Yes, we've been keeping an eye on it for our area too. The Ocean View retreat is taking precautions. They might have to cancel." I could hear the disappointment in her voice. Their expensive, non-refundable vacation was falling apart. I added, "That's unfortunate. But Shell Bay is safe, protected by the coral reef. We're still going ahead with our plans." There was a long silence on the phone. Then Linda said in a sickly sweet voice, "Since you have that cottage, perhaps we could all." I interrupted her, matching her tone. "I'm not sure it meets the resort standards. There are no etiquette classes, no private cabanas, and the kids will actually have to play in the sand." I could almost hear her teeth grinding. Over the next few days, the forecast became more and more ominous. The inevitable happened. The Ocean View retreat announced its temporary closure due to the incoming hurricane. There were no refunds, no rescheduling. The family group chat erupted in chaos. "Victoria, this is a nightmare. The girls' resort dresses are useless now." "Amelia, the twins were looking forward to their beach yoga sessions." "Linda, Catherine, surely you understand our situation. Your cottage is the only option left," someone wrote. I let them wait for a while before replying. "I wish we could help, but we've already invited the kids' friends from the Sea Turtle program. They love running around barefoot, getting sandy, and playing games on the beach. The cottage is full, but it's full of happy kids enjoying summer the way it should be." Ryan read over my shoulder and chuckled. "You're being tough," he said. I smirked and replied, "No, I'm a mother protecting my children's happiness." Not long after, Linda sent me a direct message. "We've already lost our deposits. Is it really necessary to punish the whole family over a misunderstanding?" I looked at the latest photo on my phone of my kids covered in sand, helping a marine biologist tag a sea turtle nest. Their smiles were so bright. I wrote back, "It's not punishment. It's a lesson in priorities." The kids made sea glass necklaces today. It's a shame their cousins won't be here to make their own, but I'm sure the resort's etiquette classes will be equally fulfilling. I attached the photo. Ryan hugged me from behind as we watched the chat bubbles indicating Linda, Victoria, and Amelia were typing a response. "They'll hold this against us," Ryan murmured. "Maybe," I admitted. "But our kids will remember this summer as the one where they learn to be happy on their own terms, and that's worth all the family drama." Sure enough, the hurricane hit the Ocean View retreat hard. The villas were flooded, the facilities were damaged, and there was an indefinite closure notice. Linda's money was gone. In contrast, Shell Bay remained untouched. Our little beach house became a place full of laughter, learning, and precious memories. The kids were actively involved in protecting turtle nests, cleaning up the beach, and making friends with the conservationists. As summer ended, we packed up our cottage. Olivia carefully collected a jar of seashells and asked, "Can we give these to the cousins?" They looked sad in the pictures. I felt a surge of pride. Despite everything, her first instinct was kindness. "Of course, sweetheart. Maybe next summer they'll want to join us in the Turtle Patrol," I said. Months later, at a family dinner, Linda sighed and said, "I suppose there's something to be said for simpler vacations." I met her gaze and replied, "There's something to be said for valuing people for who they are." The next summer, not only were my kids at the beach house, but Victoria's daughters and Amelia's twins also joined the Turtle Patrol. Designer clothes were replaced with t-shirts and sun hats, and tablet time was replaced with early morning hatchling watches. Even Victoria admitted that her girls were happier here than at any exclusive resort. One evening, as we all sat around the bonfire roasting marshmallows, Linda came up to me and said softly, "I was wrong, about the kids, about everything." I nodded. "Yes, you were, but they're teaching us all a lesson. True worth isn't about fitting into a fancy resort, it's about being real, passionate, and kind." As the fire crackled and the sound of the waves filled the air, I knew we had created something truly priceless. A place where kids could be kids, and where joy was measured by authenticity, not by etiquette or exclusivity. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't about making others regret, it's about building something so wonderful that they wish they had chosen a different path.